Hello and welcome to this program. This program is brought to you with the compliments of the Zambia Development Agency and ZNBC. Now recently, the ZDA hosted the Zambia Angola Business Forum on the sidelines of the state visit by His Excellency Mr. João Lourenço, President of the Republic of Angola, to Zambia. Now the forum, which was also graced by the Zambian Republican President, was under the theme Zambia Angola Increased Trade and Investment Cooperation. On the program today, I'm joined by the Vice President Services of the Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Chabuka Kawesha, who's going to help us understand some of the issues that came out of that forum and how we as Zambia can benefit from Angola, how Angola can benefit from Zambia, and the way forward. How are you? Welcome to the program.
Fine, thank you. How are you?
It's good to have you on the program. Exciting times we're living in. And I know that Angola is a country that's, many people say is expensive to live in. But when you talk of how we can tap into some of its wealth and how Angola can tap into some of Zambia's wealth, this forum obviously brought out some of these issues on how we can work together as two nations. Let's talk about this forum a little bit more. What are some of the issues that came out? What are the goods, the bads, and where can we meet in the middle?
Yeah, thank you. Initially, I think we need to appreciate the role that ZDA has played in arranging the forum, together with the line ministries, that's Commerce and Trade, as well as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It was a good initiative. Great stuff came out of the whole forum. The opportunities that were discussed by both private sector and government representatives from both sides. Mm-hmm. And we need to realize from inception that besides DRC, where we share a border of about 1,600 kilometers, with Angola we are about 1,100 kilometers. The opportunities are immense,
right,
that lie between the two countries. The connectivity that can be arranged between the two countries, of course, led by the private sector, is immense. Mm-hmm. Reason we as captains of industry, the chambers of commerce and others, are driving this agenda in, of course, in collaboration with ZDA, with government, the respective ministries responsible for infrastructure and finance, so that we can work together, synergize and coordinate on how best we can improve the connectivity, whether it's road, rail, or air, between the two countries.
All right. In terms of your involvement as Zaki, let's begin from there. Let's break it down, what you're about, who is Zaki, for those who might be watching and wondering, what is this, organization, where are they coming from? What is, your role in this?
Zaki, of course, we are a private sector driven body. We are there to promote the interest of the private sector, to advocate, to support. And that's why you find that we encourage all those in the private sector, small, medium, large. Don't just sit there. Come through to the chamber, be part of the process, be part of influencing your destiny in issues of policy, in issues of governance, where government is and private sector is concerned.
Okay. Yeah. What is your role also in terms of when we talk about regionally? Because this is something big when you talk about Angola working with Zambia and Zambia working with other countries in the region. What is your role in ensuring that successful synergies are created at that regional level?
Yeah, primarily as a chamber, of course, we interlink ourselves with respective chambers in various markets. For example, in Angola, we've signed a working agreement with the Angola Chamber. Okay. And through that chamber now we are able to facilitate, whether it's business to business or business to government, or trade missions between the two countries. Mm-hmm. We did sign our agreement with our counterparts in Angola last year. So since then we've seen a lot of interaction, and the current visitation by the president from Angola could not have come at a better time. Okay. After the chambers, the private sector had made the necessary linkages. So it's now just follow through.
Okay.
Yeah, we're just following through engagements with our colleagues. We are exchanging business contacts. We're exchanging prospective areas of investments. We are raising the profile. Each country is raising the profile of what's available and what the other party can add on to the other country.
Right.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you've brought up the issue of the Angolan president coming to Zambia and the business forum that was held during his visit. Let's talk about that briefly, and having the entire president come through and having such a wonderful gathering as that for the business community. What does this do for our country and in raising the interest of the investors, the local investors as well as the international investors, when they get to see something like that being put together?
Yeah, I think it's very key, and we equally appreciate the presence of His Excellency President Lungu at the forum. It raises the profile and the confidence of such interactions, because the private sector is looking for government's buy-in into the business opportunities that we are talking. I mean, if we look at the size of some of the investment projects that are being discussed. For example, we have the Northwest Rail project, which has been on the cards for quite some time. We have the Angola Zambia oil pipeline project. These are initiatives that are being promoted by persons, groups, and individuals from the private sector. But within the equation, they do require involvement of government.
Right.
Yeah, because if the funders, for example, are coming from some distance, or external, could be internal as well, they want to know that the host governments are supporting those initiatives. So the presence of our respective leaders at such events does actually contribute into cementing the confidence into all the discussions that are taking place.
All right. Do you feel that the business community in Zambia is ready for such big sort of agreements and partnerships that are coming up, in relation to, obviously speaking about Angola? When you talk of the Mongo Kalabo Road opening up, when we say we want to have an oil pipeline coming from Angola, we've got that infrastructure ready. But is the community itself, the business community, ready to take this on and deliver?
Yeah, I think the business community, I mean, we are 50 plus some years into independence. We have been ready as a private sector and private individuals. Some in partnership with foreign partners to undertake massive projects. But ultimately, these large infrastructure projects do require the engagement of the public sector.
Right.
Because compliance, regulatory aspects, certain clearances are coming from the governmental side. So the time factor that it takes public sector to clear these projects, to buy into these projects, to approve these projects is very, very critical. If it takes too long, it has the ability and the capacity to dampen the spirit of the private sector, and we risk losing the private sector along the way if we begin to take long as public sector in clearing some of these projects, because everything starts with a dream. So I can be here as an individual. I'll dream of establishing an airline. I'll dream of building a rail line. I need the other party, and mainly it's the government structures on the other end, to come on board and begin to buy into these initiatives.
All right. Do we need more of these fora where we could discuss opportunities like this, where we can create linkages with our neighboring countries? It's taken us a while to sort of partner fully with Angola. Yes, we have something working with the DRC, but do we need more of these sort of platforms to be able to bring out the private sector to ensure that government is on board as well, and we work together to create big opportunities for different countries, Zambia inclusive.
Yeah, indeed. You're spot on. We need more of these forums. They're very, very critical because at times you may find that certain information is held by the private sector just quietly, but when such a forum comes out, it helps those challenges, opportunities to be aired, and everyone begins to contribute to the possible solutions. I'll give the example of the much talked about sovereign guarantees. It's Zambians will go out there, bring in foreign investors. The foreign investors come here. At some stage in the discussion, they begin to ask about sovereign guarantees. Now, when we have such forums, it's a subject that can be discussed at great length. Answers can be given to the private sector on the available instruments that can be used, on how the private sector can approach their foreign parties to address the issues of sovereign guarantees. Because for one to just be told, no, they are not issued or they are not given, you leave it to speculation.
Right.
So it's important that even pre or prior to such events, we begin as citizens to hold business forums. It would be we would actually be happy if the ZDA itself took the initiative to drive such forums at provincial level and drive investors from all our 10 provincial capitals and districts to get involved into discussing these issues and identifying the potential projects that lie in each province and district, and begin to promote partnerships amongst locals at various scales, small scale, medium, large. The potential has been there. The Zambians have had the potential, but within the process, I think that there have been elements that have been quite frustrating, and even the time that it takes to have certain aspects and elements to a proposal being cleared on the government side.
Right, right. Before we talk about the major opportunities that the Zambian business community can venture into in Angola, let's talk about the benefits of the rail line we have connecting Angola and Zambia through rail. We've been talking about this in this country for a very long time. You know, we always say the rail is something that we don't utilize so much, especially seeing the trucks that are on our roads. It could work so well. Let's talk about the benefits that this will bring to the business community, to Zambia's economy.
Rail infrastructure, like any other form of transportation, is critical. It's a catalyst for development. I mean, look at telecoms. When you take telecommunication infrastructure to any particular area, suddenly those become trading points.
Right.
Similarly, once rail or road facilities are put in place, spotted and dotted along those infrastructure points will be development. Okay. There'll be markets. People will be bringing their produce to the areas or points where the trains are stopping, and whether it's the buses and all that. Just the volume of movement, people movement, goods between Zambia and Angola will significantly increase. I mean, look at how the volume of people that are moving between Zambia and South Africa, the volume of buses that we have between Zambia, Harare, Zambia, Johannesburg, it increases, and it just begins to happen, and that is trade. And there is money being traded in both markets. So the contributing factors, not only through rail, but even other modes of transport will help increase trade between our two countries.
Wonderful. So you've been in touch with the sort of business community that side, the commerce and industry organization that side, and surely you would sort of give a Zambian out there who's thinking of getting into the Angolan market, what they can tap into, what they can trade or deal into, what areas of opportunities lie in Angola that a Zambian like myself would want to get into, you think?
Oh, they so much. I mean, they are looking for agricultural produce. They're looking for beef. They are looking for chicken, and many products within the agriculture, agro realm. So it's, and on the other end, we can also be buying products like oils, crude, refined products, gas. Those can easily come into Zambia if the necessary infrastructure was in place. Salt, we don't have to go far to go and buy.
As simple as salt.
Yeah, simple thing. Angola is a key player in salt production. So there's so much that is available between the two countries, and it is my hope that and the challenge is upon us as a private sector to make all this visible to our members, and those, of course, who we would like to bring on board as members, so that they begin to know that the platform is there. The products are there on the other end. We've also got products that we can take into the market, and we can only appeal to the authorities to even begin, as much as we've worked on the aspect of the exemption of visas on ordinary passport. That's really commendable, and we must congratulate both governments on that aspect. We also begin to look at the aspect of work permits, because Zambians will want to go and start producing there, marketing Zambian products there. So they will need to station themselves there and work there. So it might be easy for them to obtain work permits. Similarly, here, we need to, the youth market is very big. The youth here from Angola, here in Zambia, who are looking at potential projects they can get involved in. Similarly, we can have Zambians go to Angola to undertake certain trade.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. So from your interactions through the business forum with the various Zambian investors, with the various industry players, do you feel that they're ready to take this on? Are they up for it? What are some of the issues that maybe they were raising in the forum that you thought, okay, this is a bit, we're going to work around this. How can we better help our industry players so that they're able to easily get into this market? Are they ready?
Yeah, they are ready. I think some of the issues, to be specific, that were quite raised were, of course, besides the issue of infrastructure, connectivity and movement between our two peoples, was the issue of the currency convertibility between the Kwanza, the Kwacha, and all that. So that, and it is our hope that the experts within and the regulators within our financial sector will look at this with the urgency that it requires. And further to that, the issue of language came up. I personally don't think it's an issue, because as we earlier indicated, we have 1,600 kilometers of border with DRC. It's French speaking. We are trading with the DRC. We are here and about within the DRC. So we've never raised the issue of language with the DRC, neither have we with Mozambique. So similarly with Angola, I think it's an opportunity. People can begin to conduct educational lessons. They can begin to do lessons. The Ministry of Education can look at introducing Portuguese as an optional subject at various schools. It will offer employment opportunities for teachers from Angola in Zambia. Similarly, Zambians who like in the teaching profession would like to go and teach English in Angolan schools. Again, that's an opportunity for them, and once that interaction increases between our two markets, we won't be talking about the volume of the low volume of trade between our two countries. It's something that we can probably see quadruple over the next year or so.
Wonderful. So as we come towards the end of the program, the Angolan president coming through to Zambia, I did ask this a little bit earlier, but in terms of going forward, what significance does this have on both our countries? The partnership, the relations that we have as two nations in terms of growing our economies, in terms of working together as neighbors and having infrastructure that is benefiting both our countries?
I think what is cardinal is that the first step has been taken, and we are very happy that it has been done both at a high level in the political circles as well as in the private sector. Is a deliberate initiative by both sides, the private sector as a start, to open up, to go into these markets and begin to see what opportunities we can share between our two countries. Further to that, government must accelerate the process of easing up the reviews and the necessary clearances to various infrastructure projects that we've identified, because it will be pointless for us to have highly spoken about all these bottlenecks, barriers, and come 3 months down the road, 4, 5 months down the road, we are still discussing the same things. We need to see some form of movement from both the public sector as well as from ourselves in the private sector. We equally just can't wait from the private sector to say no until the road is there. No, we need to start moving as well.
Okay.
And I'm quite confident that our colleagues from the other side will begin to move. But ultimately, for regulatory purposes, these things require the authorities to move in quickly. ZDA, we're happy. They've got a very, very big role to play.
Right. Yes.
But we equally saw the size of the delegation that their counterpart brought in from Angola. So we also call upon ZDA to emulate that whenever you're undertaking these missions. Carry the private sector from Mansa, from Kasama, from Mungu, from Solwezi. It shouldn't just be an in-house aspect. It should be a collective aspect where you begin to increase the delegations of the private sector representative. Then we are going to make the required impact, not only locally, regionally, but internationally.
All right. Thank you so much for coming through to the program. It's been an honor having you on the show, and good luck. Such a lot of work that you have to do, but all the best.
We appreciate. Thank you for hosting me.
All right, there you have it. I was speaking to Dr. Chabuka Kawesha, who was just explaining to us really the business forum, Angola Zambia Business Forum, that was held during the visit of Angolan President Joao Lourenço, who had come through into the country. And of course, a lot of agreements were signed, agreed upon, and we see that the future looks bright for both Angola and of course Zambia. So you too can definitely be part of this, growing the economy and ensuring that you also become part of the Zambia Chamber of Commerce and make sure that you do your part as a Zambian citizen. This is where we wrap it up. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time with another interesting topic. Bye-bye.